Hi, Vadim here. Octatrack is really best-selling product, and we can see that there's a Mark II and Mark II Black versions. And before to buy it, I was expect that it will be really cool experience of working with samples, and that it will be my dream machine. But in fact, there are lots of nuances, and this is the really complex device. In this video, I want to focus attention on counterintuitive features of Octatrack. This means that you think that it must work some way, but actually it works contrary. First of all, I don't want you to think that I hate this instrument or something like this. I really like it. It's really essential part of my quite small setup. I think that I should discuss it, and maybe some people unleash hidden possibilities watching this video. I want to go through all the steps of work with Octatrack, with samples. From recording samples, I will record from Pocket Operator. We record some sound, create some slices, process sound with effects, and look on the counterintuitive features of Octatrack. Okay, first of all, create just blank project. I go to project menu, change, yes, and create empty project. Okay, we just got blank project, pattern 1, bank 1, all the tracks configured as static. Okay, and first counterintuitive feature of the Octatrack is that you cannot hear your incoming audio, and it's not intuitive how to really hear the sound, and I'll cover this topic later, but now just show you how to hear Pocket Operator. You go into mixer section and choose the direct monitoring of CD pair. It's this knob. Turn off gain, I don't need it now. So, how to record samples into Octatrack? You can record only into operating memory of this device. It's a random access memory, about 85 megabytes or megabits, I think megabytes. And first of all, you need to configure track into Flex machine. You need to double click on SRC source page to choose what type of the machine will be assigned on the currently active track. So, static is the machine which plays sound from SD card. So it's a real slow type of memory, so you cannot create some fast jumping between memory locations of your audio and so on. Flex is more fast way of operating with samples. Octatrack loads samples from card into its internal memory, and you can do anything with this samples. And also you need Flex machine to have access to recording buffer. Okay, recording buffer, it's the place in the operating memory of Octatrack where you record something from the world. Okay, I choose Flex, and then I double click on track. I can choose recording buffer number 1. By the way, this is not a counterintuitive features of the Octatrack. It's just the way it is, and it's a normal thing. I just choose recording buffer number 1. And the first thing I show you, I just create some or just select some loop. Oh, yeah, okay. Let's to record this loop. Okay, for instance, I just want to record some long loop about maybe a minute. So I just press track plus record 2, which corresponds to CD input. Okay, we get here plus, so Octatrack recording music, recording sound, and okay, let's go. Oh, I cannot record all length I want, and Octatrack skip the recording because it goes out of memory. You got 8 recording buffers assigned to tracks, and all the operating memory of the Octatrack is shared between these recording buffers. But in fact, I think that no one needs, and almost never you need an 8 recording buffers. Just maybe sometimes, but in most situations you need just one recording buffer where you record all the stuff you need, you just do something with this stuff, and so on. So maybe it will be a good idea to by default assign all operating memory of Octatrack to this buffer, and if user wants to use more than one buffers, he goes to the menu and choose the settings. So let me show you how to fix this counterintuitive. Choose project, go to memory, to control menu, memory submenu, and first of all choose the 24-bit recording. It's really high quality recording type. Dynamic recorders, choose no because it will generate the constant 24 bits flow of sound without no compression. Also 24 bits, and you see that then we record pocket operator, we have got only 16 seconds of the memory. But this is the 16 seconds on the all of 8 recording buffers. Here I change this range to only recording buffer 1 and recording buffer 2, because sometimes I need to sample, resample between these buffers, and 2 recording buffers is the more than enough for me. You see that just tiny bit of our all operating memory of Octatrack is used now, so I get here and allocate about 2 minutes of the memory. 2 minutes on the both recording buffers. No, select no. Playback will be stopped. I say okay, yes. Save all the settings. So press track 1 plus record 2 button to start recording. After that I just start some loop. We can watch how the process is going. Okay, that's enough. And now let me show how to trim this loop. Tempo of the project and pattern is 120 beats per minute. I don't know what BPM on the Pocket operator. Of course, I can check it, but then you sample some live, some song or some live performance. You just don't know exact tempo, but you can count amount of repetitions. So I just set the starting point of the sample, function plus yes to playback. Okay, so I just choose 2 bars or almost oh yeah, you can see the transient. Okay, look here. I will just moving the position and you hear the tempo. Octatrack thinks that tempo is 120, but selected length is 2 bars and a third. But we know that it's exactly 2 bars. So I just mark this point as the ending. I just move looping point here, zoom out. Yeah, sounds good. And how to tell the Octatrack that, hey, I know the right tempo? Okay, we go to the 4th page, and here we got some gain option, loop mode on, and here trim length is exactly the same value as value on the bottom row from the 1st page. And here we choose two bars, and Octatrack automatically counts 105 BPM. Let's go back to trim settings, and after I move my end point, Octatrack doesn't change its loop length, but changes tempo. Go to this page, select that it's 2 bars, but after that I change this arrow, and now this arrow points on the original tempo. It's one of micro counterintuitive things, but maybe it's subjective. But now I change the length, tempo is still constant, and I choose four bars. And we get really nice timing. Okay, let's save and assign sample PO32 test. Save and assign to free static. Now Octatrack saves all the data from recording buffer to card, and put this loop into some sound kit of this project. Second counterintuitive feature is that Octatrack can save this recorded loop or sample on 2 different destinations on card. First destination is the project specific folder. Second destination is a global audio pool. In the majority of the situations, you want Octatrack to save your samples, loops and everything into audio pool. Is the best solution, because then you create some new project and you want to start with something and you doesn't like the blank project. You want to go somewhere and search for different options, different sounds, and the audio pool is the best solution. You just go to the audio pool and scroll through millions of different sounds. Then you save sound into a specific project folder. You need to go to any project and look for some sounds. It's not that fun. So let's go to project settings, go to control, or not control, system personalize, yeah, somewhere, save samples to audio pool. You have to keep track this option, because then you work on a song, maybe all the contents you create you definitely want to use in other projects. So maybe results of creating some songs or tracks or performances, you should save them on the project directory. But then you just resampling some stuff from the internet or your synthesizers. The best solution is audio pool. To play back, I can press this button from track 2, and you hear that this loop has been changed by Octatrack, because tempo of this project is 120 BPM, but as you remember, loop playbacked by Pocket Operator was 105 BPM. So Octatrack just speed up whole loop, and now this loop corresponds to this tempo. Okay. So next part of the video is about editing, about slices. So let me record some of Pocket Operator sounds into recording buffer, but not as a constant loop, but as just an array of different sounds. I just hit track plus record. I have 2 minutes of the free space, and let's go. Let's slice some sounds. I just move the cursor. Okay, yes, add slice here. Next sound. Okay, now I got 2 slices here, but how can I play with them? To play slices, I need to change my keyboard. Now this keyboard activates tracks, but I want to play with slices. So I just changed the keyboard from track activating keyboard through chromatic slots, and okay, slices. But here we still haven't got slices, because you need by double click on the source page, go here and activate slices. I think this is a really counterintuitive feature, because if your sound which you upload to track hasn't got slices, this option doesn't matter. But if your track has slices on its in its settings, you definitely want to use them, and this setting must be on. But on Octatrack you need to do it every time manually, so this is the really counterintuitive thing. What if I want to play with one of the slice in a chromatic manner? I need to leave this menu, audio editor, choose the chromatic keyboard. After that, you need to choose desired slice by this parameter. So slice 2. This is not really handy to leave this menu. You just want to crop something and to play with it on a chromatic scale. After that, try to experimenting with other slices, and it will be really cool to have the access to different keyboards, not leaving this menu. So I don't think that it's really counterintuitive, but I think that it's really break my experience in such a cool process like slicing. Move next to counterintuitive features when you're playing slices or sounds. Octatrack cannot accelerate the playback of sound, and this rate corresponds to original sound. 32, it's the two times slower than the original. 16, 8, and so on. Negative values corresponds to the same speeds but with the reversed direction. Octatrack hasn't got option to speed up playback. However, it's really simple from the hardware perspective. Still don't upgrade this feature. This keyboard has only 2 octaves. For instance, Digitact has about 6 octaves, which is quite enough for lots of different purposes. But Octatrack can warp sound and Digitact cannot. But how to change these 2 octaves? Up and down not work, it's still 0. Left right is still 0. Okay, the solution is you have to press function, and the left and right will cyclically change the octave of the keyboard. I think that's a possibility to change the octave with one hand. It's much more suitable. So let me show you the next counterintuitive feature of Octatrack keyboard. Octatrack doesn't know about legato. You cannot get the legato just by pressing. Even if you still hold first sound and after that press second sound, you cannot get the legato because sound will be retricked. You need to hold function knob. Also, I want to mention that I expect that Octatrack will have sample polyphony. Analog 4, Digitone, it has the system of sharing voices between tracks. So you can use one track but use all the 4 voices on the Analog 4. But Octatrack is the ancient device, so you just have 8 tracks and they're separated and you cannot chain them somehow. Octatrack has a number of the different keyboards and some of them quite interesting, like chromatic and slice. But in fact, you cannot play with slice from external MIDI keyboard. Okay, you can, but long time I was using Octatrack and think that it's impossible until my friend tell me that, oh, there's a hidden setting on the MIDI control menu. You got audio note in standard. Standard means that you can play with samples chromatically and do other things, but you can change it to off to haven't got ability to play the samples and follow TM. This means that Octatrack converts MIDI notes correspondingly to selected keyboard. So if you play MIDI note 0 or 1, okay, it activates first slice. Second note, it activates second slice, and so on. But if you change keyboard of the Octatrack to chromatic, now only chromatic range of the MIDI channel will generate sound and activate the VCA. Let me explain how Octatrack MIDI map, channel MIDI map is organized. It's really strange and brings me lots of problems, because sounds from 72 to 96, it's 24 sounds or 25 sounds, these 2 octaves of stretching. But to the left of this range we got possibility to activate any sequencer, any recording buffer to record sound, any sample track, and so on, which is, I think, quite useless for many purposes. Let me explain. I think that all these functions, like ability to play, to start playback, stop playback, start recording, start record buffer 1 to 8, it's cool features, but you should place them on the separate MIDI channel, something like transport MIDI channel of the Octatrack. But for the playing on samples, you should use 24 notes for chromatic playing on samples, and for example 64 MIDI notes to activate different slices. That will be really cool. Okay, next part is the sound processing. If you remember that in this beginning of this video we can see that Pocket Operator plays something but cannot hear it. And Octatrack is a really cool device which allows you to process sound. So, how to hear incoming audio without direct monitoring and using the tracks. So, I choose the 7th track, double press the source page and choose through machine. Through machine, processing incoming audio and send it to main out. So I choose the machine, but no, we are still cannot hear incoming audio. We need to select C and D inputs. Okay, we still cannot hear incoming audio until we activate the track. I just press this button and voila, we activate this track and now we hear sound. I go to second effect, by default is the delay. Okay, I change the feedback and send parameter. And we hear how Octatrack processing our sound. But any guitar pedal has a bypass button, so you push this button and hear processed sound. Push again and you hear clear sound, which is go to its input. So I thought that Octatrack will have some of this functionality, but no, it hasn't got. Of course, in Octatrack you can use stages to morph between something like active effect and not active effect, but it's really complex to handle. Then you have several tracks and this stage doing something only with one track, not with the all in some combinations. The next counterintuitive thing that this channel allows you to process sound, and for instance it has a filter with an envelope, and it also has an chromatic keyboard. So I'm just activate the envelope of the sound, but this it's really hard to synchronize Octatrack with your device, or even if it's a MIDI device, because MIDI device has some channel and its VCA or sound activates with some not on event, and it will be cool if Octatrack can receive the same not on event on through track, and of course through track hasn't got chromatic some chromatic parameters, because it's just processing sound, not samples. But then Octatrack get this not on message, MIDI message. It will activate envelope like I can do it manually. But unfortunately it hasn't got some such functionality, because as I say earlier, MIDI mapping is really weird and really not handy. Okay, the last part is about sequencer, counterintuitive features of the sequencer. Let's go to second track with this loop. I changed the release parameter of this track, so while I hold here, we hear the loop, but then I release, sound smoothly decays to 0. And what if I want to record some sequence based on this loop? Okay, let me show you the next counterintuitive feature of the Octatrack. Is if I want to record to sequencer something like okay, and let's play back it. I hope you understand what is going here. Octatrack doesn't record gate time of my sound. So then I play like this. Short triggers. Octatrack doesn't record gate length, so it play the sound until it will be interrupted with the other sound. And this feature is really killing this device as a sequencer, because I can't use it. I think that sequencer is thing which gives you what you expect from it. Good sequencer is recording not only the moment of pressing sound, but the moment of the releasing sound, because it's two different soundings, and that's why I never use Octatrack as a sequencer. I just use it as a looper. I just put some trigger on the first step of each track, select length of track and so on, but I never create some sequences with notes and rhythmical patterns. Also, Octatrack hasn't got ordinary quantize. You can just quantize 50%, after that 50% and so on, but you cannot unquantize this back. But of course you can just move each trigger on a grid. One more counterintuitive thing of the Octatrack is that you cannot change samples inside the bank. I go to pattern number 2 and change sample from slot 2 to slot 1. Go back to pattern 1 and sample also changed. It's really counterintuitive feature for people who works with modern devices, but in Octatrack you just should use parts. You just have 4 arrangements of sounds in bank, or just change the bank, but here you can lose all your tracks structure. For instance, here no more through track, here no more flex track. This is the end of my counterintuitive Octatrack features. Hope this video was useful for you, and don't forget to subscribe my channel, hit like, and share this video with people who will enjoy and people who will get the profit from this video. This is the only way to support my channel. Thank you for attention, and bye.